Good morning, everyone. So in the last class, we are trying to discuss with string handling concepts here, and this is the one important concept we are going to discuss here. So if you observe carefully, so we are going to discuss some, uh, five, 5 minutes the previous class here, so that we can get an idea what we discussed in the last class. Right. So in the string class, we are identified some of the constructors initially. How many constructors we are having here? One is the default constructor, and one more is expecting character array. One more is expecting character array. And later we identified so another constructor here. So where we identified here? So here. So if you observe, this is loading character array. Along with the character array, we are having so some of the sections information from the which character we are trying to load, and if we observe carefully, we are having three parameterized constructor here. Initially, we are having one parameter constructor which is taking as a character array, and here the same first parameter is taking character array, the second and third parameter is taking so integer information. So how exactly this particular constructor will work here? We observe based on this particular character array, what we are doing here, we are trying to give an option to load from the which index and how many characters we are trying to load. Getting the point. The second parameter here is providing from the which index onwards we are trying to load the elements which are resides in the particular character array. Getting the point. And the third one here, how many characters we are trying to load. How many characters we are trying to load, it is indicating here. So these are about the third constructor here. And the fourth constructor, if you observe here, what we are doing here. So str2 is a type what here? It is a type what? String type. Now, what we understand here, this particular constructor is taking as a string as a parameter. So carefully observe here, we are having more than one overloaded constructors here. More than one overloaded constructor we are having. So first one taking character array, and the second constructor taking along with the character array two additional integer parameters, and the third one we are taking as a so string as a parameter. So this is the third constructor. So this is the different data type is taking. Getting the point. Same way we identified these last two. So which these two constructors are taking byte related information. Byte related information. So these are about the constructors are available in the particular which class here? String class. Getting the point. And after this we identified one method called length method. So what is the purpose of this particular length method? So what it will do? And is going to check with how many elements are stored in the particular string. Getting the point. So how many elements are stored in the particular string is going to return the count of the elements here. So you can see the length method will return integer value. So we'll see one more time the length method, but make sure how many elements are resides in the particular string. So how we can identify it here? By calling the method called length method. By calling the method called length. And after this, what we are doing here, we are trying to append some other text here. So see the difference here, whenever we are calling like this, so we are expecting the output like this, right? But whenever we are calling this particular concat here, what happens here? So because of immutability, whatever the information we added newly, so the information is not appending to the existing object. Getting the point. So this is very important here in the string. So using this particular literal concept, we can append this string, but whenever we are calling this particular method to get an old object with the new object, so we are unable to found. What we need to do here, we need to create like new object here to get the new object information along with the old object here. So this is already we identified in the last class. For just understanding, I'm trying to explain one more time here. Getting the point. So the concat method we identified here, and back to here. Now what we are doing here. So in this section, what we are doing here? We are defining different type of data. Along with the different data, so we are working with the string. So basically here what we need to understand here, so this particular age, what we are doing here, we are trying to append with the string here. So in the last class, we identified two examples regarding this. So initially we check with the string, right, to append the two strings here, and after string we identify the with a different data type, so that is called int. So using different data type, how we are appending here, this is important here, right? So this is all about the appending example here. And lastly, we discuss here this class information. Now what we are doing here, we are trying to append with some numbers here. We are trying to append with the numbers. So initially, if we are not using this particular brace here, what happens here? So 4:22. Getting the point. So this is we are going to get here, because whenever we are not providing any braces here, the compiler is going to treat it as a, so these are the numbers we need to append. So append is different, addition is different. Getting the point. So now whenever I'm trying to provide this particular brace, first is going to take the high priority, and whatever the information which is resides in the braces, so is going to do some operation here. So what operations is going to do here? Some addition operations here. And once addition operation is completed, so this append operation is going to affected here. So that's the reason we are going to get an output call here 4. Getting the point. So whenever we are trying to do any, so addition or subtraction, any multiplication related information, what we need to do here? We need to write those particular code inside the braces. Inside the braces. This is very important here. And another method we identified here. What is the name of the method? Something called caret. So what is doing this particular caret method? So whenever we are trying to specify the index value, what it will do internally? What it will do? So if you observe here, basically internally we identified some previous example, array related example here, how it's are working here. So same way, so this particular string also it's going to work here. So something called, so here I'm trying to define 4 and colon. So something called, we are having one more index here, that is called 4, right? And here if you observe 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, last one is 5. So how many elements we stored here? So around 6 elements we stored here. But whenever we are calling this particular caret method, what happens internally? So whatever the value we are specifying as a parameter, the caret method is going to take one parameter, so which is int type. So here we can specify 0 or 1, 2, 3, whatever we want to specify. Based on this value is going to check here inside this particular string array. Getting the point. Now what it will do here? What it will do is going to check with whatever the value which is resides inside this particular index location. This value we are going to print. Getting the point. So because of this, in the last class we are getting F. In the last class we are getting F here. Getting the point. And finally we call the toChar array. So what it will do, this toChar array method? It's trying to return character array. It's trying to return character array. Using this particular character array, what we are doing internally, we are trying to print one by one element. Getting the point. So from the string, if we want to convert into characters, what we can do? We can go for the toChar method. But here, instead of getting one object, we are going to get so multiple objects here. Multiple objects is nothing but multiple elements we are going to have. So because of that one, the toChar array method is returning char array. Getting the point. So this is very important here, toChar array. And later we identified equals methods as well as equal ignores case method. In the last class we identified in the which scenario we can go for the equals method, in the which scenario we can go for the equals ignore case. If you observe carefully, how many strings we created here? So we created around 5 strings we created. Getting the point. And now, how exactly this particular equals method is working here? If we observe carefully, S1 also having hello, and S2 also having hello, and S3 we are boy, and S4 we are having hello, S5 also we are having hello. But here, all the references are different here. All the references are different, but object is same. So reference is different or different. Carefully observe here. What is the reference here? Basically, reference here is nothing but where this particular object is stored. Where this particular object is stored, this particular references are going to point here. So something called, we can imagine S1. S1 is a reference is pointing to the where this particular actual object is resides here. Same like S2. Getting the point. Same like S3. And you can check here S2 and S3. So just imagine, so instead of creating multiple images here, I am pointing to one object here. But make sure here, so it's having unique reference of each object here. Unique reference will contain each object here. So back to here, the equals method, how it is working here. Equals method every time is going to check with the object, whether the objects are equal or not. So how it's going to check here? Here we are having one object reference, and here what we are doing here? We are calling one more object reference here. Whenever we are passing this two object reference here, what it will do? This two object reference is going to check where this actual object is resides. Where the actual object is reside. So once the actual object is identified by this particular equals method, now is going to start comparing the object here. Getting the point. So this is the way the equals method is going to work. Same way, same way we can observe here this particular equal ignore case, what it will do. So basically the difference between equals and equal ignore case here, this equal ignore case is not going to consider the, so whether the object in the uppercase or lowercase, but equals method is going to compare same as it is. If the both objects are in the lowercase or in the uppercase, then only this particular equals method will return true. Getting the point. But here, if the object is same, either the object is a uppercase or one object is uppercase and another object is lowercase, also this equal ignore case method will return true. So in that case, one object is lowercase and one object is uppercase, this equals method will return false. So see the difference between equals and equals method. Getting the point. Back to here. So we identified start with method and end with method. The start with method will return true or false whenever this particular object is starting with some of the string, whatever the string we are going to pass as a parameter. Getting the point. So this is very important here, and we can check same way the end with the same object here, something called S2 reference object here is ending with this particular string or not, is going to check. It's going to check. If it is ending, what happens internally? It's going to return true. If it is not ending, it will return false here. So this is all about the start with and end with. Finally, we identified equals method as well as double equal to operator. So the equals method just now we discussed here basically is going to provide the object comparison, and double equal to operator is going to check with the reference of the object. Is going to check with the reference of the object. So this is very important here. So in the which scenario we want to check reference of the object, and which scenario we want to check the actual object. So we can go for the equals and double equal to operator here. Getting the point. So this is all about the previous class example we discussed here. So any questions regarding this? Still you are having any problem regarding the previous methods? Okay, so back to here. In the last class, the final one we discuss here, observe the comparative method. So we'll have a more information on this particular comparative method, but make sure here the comparative method will return integer value. This particular comparative method will return integer value. So whenever we are getting so greater than one value, what we can identify? So basically, this particular object is greater than to this particular object. So in that case, so carefully observe here. So this particular ARR greater than something called ARRJ. So ARRI greater than to ARRJ. So what we are going to do? So we are going to get plus values. So something called 1, 2, 3. Getting the point. 1, 2, 3 values we are going to get here. And same here, when this particular ARRI less than ARRJ. Getting the point. So ARRJ, we are going to get minus values here. We are going to get minus values here. Whenever these are two objects are equal, we are going to get 0. So this is very important here. So how we can check here, the condition is important here. You can see, so because of that, what I implemented here, greater than 0. So it's nothing but, so we are going to get positive values, right? Whenever you are making less than 0, what happens here? We are going to get negative values here. And whenever we are specifying here, equals to 0. Equals to 0. In that case, what happens here? So these two objects are equal here. These two objects are equal here. Getting the point. So using this particular way, we can check with the comparative method. We can check with the comparative method here. So these are about the previous class example here. Now, so we'll try to check with another examples here. Like we are having so different methods. We're having different method. So carefully observe here, searching strings. So if we want to search any string, what we can do here? Getting the point. So basically, this particular string class provide the two methods to search the particular string here. What are the two methods we are having here? The two methods here, first one called index of, and another one here, last index of. Another one here, last index of. Getting the point. So using these particular two methods, what we are going to do? Observe carefully. So basically, this particular index of is a overloaded method. This particular index is a index of, and last index of is a overloaded method. We'll try to check with what exactly this particular index of method will work here. Observe here, index of method, how many parameters is taking a? First one is taking as a int. Second one also is taking two parameters as a same data type. So that is called int. And the third one we can observe, which is taking as a string parameter. And the fourth one, which is taking as a string comma int. And so internally, all the methods are going to call this particular method. So something called byte array into string. Getting the point. So these are about the, so methods are available. The same method which having different two parameters here. Getting the point. So we'll observe simple example how exactly this particular index of method will work. Same way, what I can do, last index of. The last index of also, if you observe carefully, the parameters are same. Method name is different, but parameters are same here. So int, the same parameter is taking for first object, so first method, and the second method also, which is taking two parameters has the same data type, that is called int here. And the third parameter, the third method which is taking parameter here, string here, and the fourth method is taking string comma int. Getting the point. So these are all about the overload method we are having. We'll have a simple example how exactly it's going to work here. Back to here, we'll try to focus on the in the which scenario we can go for this particular index of as well as the last index of here. And now what I'm doing here, I'm trying to define one string object here. So using the which concept here, using the literal concept, I'm trying to define one object here. Now some message I'm trying to add. Some message I added here, but if you observe carefully, now what I'm going to do? Now what I'm going to do? Simply we'll print a sys out here. We'll print a sys out here. And now what I'm going to do? First we'll work on the index of. So what I'm going to specify here, the t I'm going to specify, because we are having the t multiple times here. We'll try to check with how exactly the t is going to print. So to work on that, what we can do, s dot index of here. Now what I am going to do here, so if I am going to specify the character here, carefully observe, I am taking here this particular integer type, but here I am specifying here something called character here. So why we are not getting here the particular error here? So because of the particular ASCII, we are not going to get any error, even though the data type is specified int, we can work with the character related informations. So observe here, simple example I want to add here. What is the value we are going to get here? The index of. If I'm going to run this particular example, what is the value we are getting here? So if whenever we are calling this particular index of, we are getting 7. Why we are getting 7 here? This particular index of method will return the integer data type, and basically where this particular character is resides. Getting the point? Where this particular character is resides. So how we are going to identify? By calling the method called index of. Getting the point? Now we can observe here. Up to this, you can make some index values here. So now we'll try to focus on the 0, 1, 2, and the space also is going to include here 3, I4, S5, space 6, T7. Getting the point? Because of this, the t value we are getting 7 or not. You can consider here the space also. The space also is going to store in a one index here. Observe here. If I'm going to specify space here, the same example I'm trying to run. Observe here. We are getting this 3 or not. You can observe here 0, 1, 2. After 0, 1, 2, we given the space. The space is located in the which index number? That is called 3. Getting the point? So this is the way this particular index of method will work here. And same way I want to call the last index of this particular t. The same t I want to check here. So initially we can check this particular t. Now you can see, sorry, this is also same method I added here. We want to check here last index of. And carefully observe here, if I'm going to call the same character here, index of and last index of, you can see, so this is the initial index of the particular character, and this is the last index of the particular character here. So which is resides in the last character in a which location? That is called 33 index location. So using this particular method, what we are going to do here, we are going to call the particular character information where it is resides here. Okay. After this, what I want to do here? After this, what I want to do? Basically, we are having some other methods here. So as we have seen, this particular method is a overloaded method. Getting the point. Now, we'll try to focus on the another methods information here. And here, this particular index of method, which is taking 2 parameter. Now, we'll try to focus on the same method, comma, 10 I want to give. I'm trying to give 10. Same way, the last index also I want to give something called 20. Something called 20 here. If you observe carefully, what exactly these particular methods are going to work here. So you can see, initially we are having 7 and 33. 7 and 33. But whenever we are giving this particular index here, what happens here? What happens here? After 10 index is going to start from such this particular character called T. And same way, after this particular 20 index, so what is the last element of last index of this particular T? Getting the point? What is the last index of this particular T? So that is going to specify here something called 11 here. So initially the last index is 33, but we specified some restrictions here. After 20 index, something called after 20 elements. Getting the point? So start from identifying this particular T, which location is stored here. Getting the point? So now what I'm going to do, this particular character is identified as a last index, which is located as a 11th. So these are about the index of method and the last index of. So this is the second parameter, which is how it is working here. And now we'll try to move on to the string here. We'll try to move on to the string. One more here. If we observe, I want to check. So this particular string information I want to pass here, and here we'll try to use the same here. We'll try to use the same information here. Now observe here. So these are the initial ones, and this is the different parameter we identified, and we can see this is it is not a character. This is the string we are passing here. Observe quotes here. This is very important here. Whenever we are working on the double quotes, so the compiler is going to treat as a string. Whenever we are working on the single quotes, this particular compiler is going to treat as a this compiler is going to treat as a character. Getting the point? So this is very important here. This is very important here. Back to here, where this particular string is stored. Where this particular string is stored, which is location is 7. Initially 7 and the last one also 7. Why the last also we are getting same? Because here only one string we are having. If I'm going to add here the same THE here, we'll try to run the same example one more time. Observe here. The index number is changed or not? Getting the point? So this is the way the initial index and the last index we can work here. These are about the two methods. The first one called index of, and the same way you can work with the last index of here. And now one important method we are going to get here, something called substring. So how we are going to work with another method here, something called substring here. Carefully observe here the substring method, how it's going to work here. And we'll try to check with the substring also overloaded method here. Substring also overloaded method. You can see, so subsequence is a different one here. Substring. How many methods we are having? Two methods. The two methods, inside the two methods, the first method is taking single parameter and the second method is taking two parameters. Getting the point? Now we'll try to focus on these two methods, how exactly it's going to work here. Back to here, in the same example, we want to work like this here. So how exactly this particular substring method work? So basically, as we explained in the last class, string is a immutable, and whenever we are trying to modify any string, what we need to do here? We need to create a one more object to get the latest changes here. So otherwise, so we are unable to find the latest changes information in using the previous reference, the object reference here. Right. So we'll try to focus on the substring method. Observe carefully. Let me use here one more, something called S1. Some message I want to add here. Something called, this is some test here. And so this is some message. So ignore the message here, but focus on the substring method, how it is working here. Later, so I'm trying to specify the search here, something called is, and another one here, something called. So how many strings I'm creating here? I'm creating more than one here, and the final one result. Final one result here. So how many string object we are having? We are having 4 string object here. Getting the point? So using this particular 4 string object, what I'm going to do? We'll try to focus on the how exactly this particular substring is going to call here. Right. And here we'll try to use do while loop here. Inside this particular do while loop, now what I'm going to do? Result plus sub. And after result plus sub, what I'm going to do? Sorry. Inside the wait here. If we observe carefully, now what I am doing here, inside this particular do, we are using the index of and I'm passing this particular string. What is the string I'm passing here? That is called is, right? And after this, what I'm going to do? I'm going to check one condition here. What is the condition I'm checking here? This particular I not equals to -1. If this particular I not equals to -1, so what exactly I'm going to do here? Using s1 dot substring. s1 dot substring. So what is the begin number here? I'm passing here 0. Getting the point. And whatever the end index here, the end index I'm specifying as a I. Getting the point. So carefully observe here, substring we are passing two parameters. So first one is a start index. We can see here begin index, and second one is a end index. So between starting index and end index, how many characters we are having? So all the characters are going to loaded by this particular substring, and is going to create a new object here. We can use the particular new object here. Getting the point. So that is I'm using here something called result here. Basically, substring method will return string here. The substring method is returning string object here. Getting the point. So that is we are passing as a result here. And after this, what I'm going to do? And based on this particular result plus sub. Result plus sub. And finally, so again I'm working on the same result here. Observe carefully. S1 dot. Again I'm calling substring here. Again I'm calling substring here. So here I'm passing I, and the end index here s1 dot length. So whatever the length we are having here, up to the length I'm trying to copy all the information here. And the copied information we are going to have inside this particular result. So carefully observe here how exactly this particular loop is working here. Basically, and after this, whatever the result we are going to get, after getting the result, I'm assigning into the S1. I'm assigning into the S1. So that what happens here? So that what happens here? The whatever the initial object we're having, so it's going to override with the new object information based on this particular conditions. Based on this particular condition. Okay. Now what I want to do? Here I want to specify the loop here, something called I not equals to -1. I not equals to -1 here. So this is all about the substring. Carefully observe here. And so we need to define the inside this particular do. We need to define the particular S1. We need to print this particular message. So then only we are going to find how exactly the substring method is working here. So carefully observe here. So you can see still it is calling here. Okay, some condition we made wrongly. What happened here? So let me check here what happens here. So when we are going to get this particular search, okay, every time we are getting here -1. Okay, the same example we can run using this particular debug mode. So we'll see where this particular condition is missing. Okay, so what is our S1 here? Something called, this is a test and this is 2, right? And what is the value we are getting here? Something called 2. And if we observe this particular 0, from 0, what we are doing here? We are calling 0, 1, 2. Whatever the message, like whatever the characters we are having between this range, we are trying to load the object information. Okay, so carefully observe the result here. What is information we are having? The result, that is called th. Carefully observe here. Previously the result is empty, but based on this particular substring, what happens here? So you can see S1 is the above object here. You can see T is resides in the 0 index, H is resides in the first location. But the condition here, from 0 to what is I value we got? Something called 2 here. 2 we got it, right? Because of this, the between 0 to 2 index, whatever the values we are having, so that is we appended as a result here. So that is called we got in th. Later, what I am doing here, I am trying to add sub. You can see the particular initial message is changed here, THWAS. So this message is appended, and after this, what we are doing here, you can see from the second index onwards. From the second index onwards, what we are doing here, we are calling the S1 dot length. What is the S1 dot length here? You can see 29. Okay. Now, if I am going to call this particular, what is we are getting the message here? The particular toString is returning this message here. ToString method is returning, sorry, substring method is returning this message. Why it is returning this message here? Because observe, what is the I value we are having? 2 here. I value we are having 2, and the length we are having, so around something called, what is the 29. Getting the point. So the length we are getting 29 is nothing but up to the end of this string. Up to the end of the string. So carefully observe, I am going to specify some diagrammatic here. So carefully observe, all the characters are going to store like this particular indexes. All the characters are going to store indexes here. Something called 0 to 29. Because the length we are getting 29 here. Right. So 0 to 28 we are going to get here. If you observe here, initially 0, 1, 2. Here, the first character we are going to store something called T, second character H, and the third character I, S. So same like the remaining characters are going to fill like this. But first we'll check here this particular substring method. What we are passing here? What is the I value we are getting here? Something called 2. So now you can say, so 0 between 2. 0 to 2. What we are having here? This particular 2 characters, that is called th. Initially we got only th, right? Getting the point. After th, we appended some other string, and later what I am doing here, from this I value, what is the I value we are getting here? 2. So from here from here, what we are doing here, we are trying to load the entire object information. So only we are removing these two index information. The remaining object we are trying to load. So from the second index onwards up to the 28 index on, all the characters are going to load in the which location. So that is called this particular substring here. This particular substring here. So because of this, what we are getting here? So you can observe s1 dot substring here. The THS we are not finding here. The remaining information we are trying to load here. So this is all about the another substring here. But now what we are doing here. So if you observe carefully, the result you can check here. What is the result we are having here? Something called here. What is the message we added here? The only appended message that is called was. And how it is adding here, this is important. Initially, what is the condition we use, and later what is the condition we used here. Because of substring, the message is changed here. So you can check here. Initially, this message we are having. Now we are having this message. Now we are having this message. What happens if I'm going to call? Let me save here because the one we added one more line here. Let me stop here. Again, I'm going to run the same example, but observe carefully what is the advantages we are going to get whenever we are using this particular substring. This particular substring logical we are going to use more and more here. Okay, back to here. We added the initial message we are printing, and same example we are going to get the I value 2, and later what we are doing here, the substring we are getting something called th. The th we are appending with sub message, something called th was the result we are getting. Finally, the result if you observe, th was, this is the test. Some message we are getting here. And now what I am doing here, the same message I am assigning into the S1. The S1 is override with a new message here. The S1 is override with a new message. But make sure while condition is satisfied, because the I we got 2. Now we are going to check here. So what is I we are getting here? 5 here. We are getting 5 here. So again, the condition is satisfying here. So we can check what is the I here. 8. Getting the point. So every time the result is changing here. You can check here. So result message we are trying to print here. The result message we are trying to print on the console. You can check here. So how exactly the message is printing here. Now you can check here. Search here. The I value, what we are getting here? 11. Every time the value is increasing, so we are not getting any minus values here. You can check here. So carefully observe here. If you run the same example, how many times we are running? The message is increasing here. So this condition is not satisfying here. This condition is not satisfying here. But make sure the message how it is increasing. That is very important here because of this particular substring. What we are doing here, we are trying to append the information here. We are trying to append the information. Getting the point. So because of this particular block, we are not able to satisfy this condition here. It's not able to satisfy the condition. But now observe carefully how exactly the message is printing on our console. So any questions regarding this particular substring method? Any questions? Okay. So now we'll go for the another method here. what is the method? Something called replace here. So how exactly this particular replace method will work here? How exactly this particular replace method will work? So let me comment this example. We'll try to focus on the another. So string s1 is equals to some message I am trying to add, something called hello. String s1 is equals to hello. Getting the point. And using this particular, I'm going to call replace method. I'm going to call replace method, which is taking old character and new character. So what is the old character I'm going to pass? And what is the new character we are trying to change the value? So observe here, I want to change this particular L character. So this is the old character called L, and with I want to change something called W. Something called W. If I'm going to print this particular S1, so we'll see how exactly this particular replace method is working here. So you can observe here. We are having two L's. So the L is replaced with W. So this is the way we can replace the character here by calling this particular method call. By calling the method call here replace. So we'll go for the one more method, something called trim method here. So what it will do, what is the purpose of this particular trim method? So basically, if we are having the particular sentence having any space, the space is going to remove by this particular trim method. The space is going to remove by this particular trim method. So if observe, we added lot of space here, and now s2 dot trim method. I'm calling s2 dot trim method here. So observe carefully the output here. And let me check here the trim method. Why the trim is not working here? Basically, it has to remove the okay. So basically, it's going to remove the before and after space, before and after spaces here. Getting the point. So carefully observe here. I'm giving the space of this particular. I'm giving the space before and after. S2. So carefully observe. So now the last two sentences here, these are the two sentences are important here. We'll try to run the same example here. So now you can see, so this is the before calling the trim method, and this is the after calling the trim method. Now you can observe here, so the copy is only specifying the information before and after. How much space we are having here. So you can see before this we are having some space, and after 2 also we are having some space. If I'm going to copy the last one, we can see there is no spaces here. Getting the point. So this is going to removed by which method? That is called this particular trim method. Carefully observe here, the copy sentence is important here, and the copy, the first one is having the lot of space before and after, and after calling the trim method, we don't have a spaces here. These are about the particular trim method, right? And if you observe carefully, the trim method is not going to remove the middle space of the particular string here. Only is going to remove the space before and after. Before and after the string. Okay. And the last methods of case related method. So we are having two methods, two lowercase and two uppercase methods. So how exactly the two lowercase and two uppercase method will work here? So to work with two lowercase, what it will do? What is the purpose of this particular two lowercase? So if you observe carefully, the entire message is converted into the lowercase. The entire message is converted into the lowercase. And the same way, if I'm going to use one more method, so two uppercase here. Getting the point. So carefully observe here. If I'm going to call, now we can observe this is converted into the uppercase characters here. Right. So these are about the purpose of this particular uppercase and lowercase information here. But make sure this is going to use when we are going to work with some security related, the password related examples here. Right. And now the trim also, it is important whenever we are trying to specify the password by giving a space. So the space is going to remove by the particular trim method. So this is very important here. Okay. And these are the methods which are resides in the string course, and each method is very important here. Any questions regarding the particular string methods? Okay. So now, so we'll try to check with one more class here that is very important. The another class called string buffer here. Getting the point. So we'll try to continue the string buffer class in the tomorrow class. So because if we are going to start, so it's going to take some more time here. And same way, we'll try to check with the constructor of the string buffer. And later, we'll try to move on to the what are the methods are available in the particular string buffer class. So after completion of this, we'll try to focus on the difference between string and string buffer. After completion of string handling, we are going to work with a collection related example here. So the collection is also very important concept here. So if we don't have anything, we can conclude the today class and we'll try to continue the same example tomorrow. So in my current project, we were facing the received some junk test and we wanted to remove those junk characters from the output. So help me how to remove the non-keyword characters from the string. Okay, so can you provide what the junk file you are having so that I will look into it, like I will explain you in the which scenario we can remove those files. Okay, so we'll try to continue tomorrow at same time.